Alright, so we're here checking out Sharky. There's still a few problems going on the model, so we'll take a look at those now and just kind of go through and fix them. One thing you might notice if we kind of look from the side here is this area right here where the geometry is kind of coming upwards on one side of Sharky and remaining kind of flat on the other side. So we want to go ahead and fix that. Make sure that you're always looking at your model from lots of different angles. When I went ahead and switched views here, I can see I'm actually looking at him from all the same view at the moment. So, you know, if you're seeing something like that where you're looking at him from all the same direction, you can always come over here to your little box and you can change the direction that you're looking at Sharky from. Okay. Also, you know, if you want to have different directions in each one, you can just come up to, in any one of these windows, this little menu that says panels right here. Alright, you can go to orthographic and you can choose a view front, side, or top. So for this one I'll just we'll go ahead and go with front for that one. Alright. Do side over here. And we'll do one from the top right here. Okay. So now we're, you know, kind of looking at it from lots of different angles at the same time. It can kind of help us see what's going on when we get, you know, little problems like this. So an easy way to fix this is to just come into vertex mode, alright? You can just grab all of these vertices all at once just by marquee selecting, okay? We can use our scale tool and just scale this in the Y direction, alright? That's going to be the green handle, alright? And once we've done that, these are now all perfectly in line with one another. Perfectly straight, so we don't have that kind of a one-sided lump thing going on anymore. And kind of the same thing right here in this area. You might notice that everything's kind of flat and then it's just sort of curling upwards and then coming back down into the corner of the mouth there. You know, we may want to shape that a little bit later, but for now I want to keep things pretty blocky to start with. So, you know, also make sure that you're grabbing all of these guys, bringing them into line with one another, just using the scale tool again, alright? And you'll just want to pull this back into place. Anywhere where you see, you know, if you look closely, these guys are a little off as well. You can use your scale tool to pull those in, alright? So there's also some problems going on with the geometry of the mouth here, okay? This corner area. Basically what should be happening is this edge here should be coming up and joining the corner of the mouth right here, alright, and should be continuing on down this line. Right now we've kind of got like two separate mouth corner areas going on here. So let's kind of take a closer look and see what's happening there. Alright, if we look inside, you can see we've got this face right here coming down, and it's just kind of sort of stopping right here, right in the middle of this face, okay? So it's not, this edge here is not attached to anything, so that's an indicator of some kind of a problem. So we can just grab that vertex and move it, and as soon as we move it, you can see this other face here just being revealed. You know, whereas before it was just kind of paper thin, and we couldn't really tell it was there. As soon as we move something, you know, then it becomes pretty apparent that there's this big old extra face here. Alright? And if we continue down this way, you know, they're actually going all the way along. with all these extra faces, alright? And then we've also got this edge that's coming along here, coming along this way. And it's just stopping right in the middle of this face, okay? So we always want our edges to continue and never actually just kind of end right in the middle of a face, alright? So let's go ahead and fix that right now. I'm going to use the Merge Vertex tool, alright? So it's going to be Edit Mesh, Merge Vertex tool. And basically we can use this just by simply clicking and dragging a vertex that we want to merge with another vertex up to the other one we want to merge with. And when we let go of the mouse there, it'll then just merge those two vertices together, right? And if there is, like in this case, a face in between, once we actually merge those vertices, it actually gets rid of that extra face, alright? So it is no longer there. There's just an edge there. There's no face sitting there anymore. So as soon as we just kind of merge those together, those extra faces are actually going away, okay? One more right there. So now our corner of our mouth is sewn up nice and neat. So we've got this edge that's coming along and it's meeting at the corner here and continuing down this way. Alright, so it's got somewhere to go. Make sure when you're done using the Merge Vertex tool that you do hit the Q button. Q stands for quit. Alright, that way you won't accidentally merge any other vertices when you're working on other things. Okay, well here's something interesting. We've got this kind of got our edge coming down here and just stopping right in the middle of this polygon here. And we also have one coming this way and just stopping right in the middle of that one. You know, if you look at it, it's pretty clear that, you know, those should probably be the same edge and they should just kind of be meeting each other. So let's take a look. Let's grab one of these vertices in this problem area and just pull on it and see what happens. Okay, so we can see as soon as we do that, there are extra faces underneath here. Alright, so it's a problem area for us. We fixed this guy earlier, so that one's fine. But it looks like this is a problem that's just kind of continuing all the way through to the other side here. Alright, so we got all these extra faces. And so we're going to fix it the same way. We're just going to use our Merge Vertex tool. Edit Mesh, Merge Vertex tool, and we can just click and drag these vertices to one another. Alright, just like that. Just hit Q when you're done. Now, because we kind of moved things around when we did that, it's good to look at it from the side again and just take the time to use your scale tool to sort of realign everything so everything's all in a straight row, as straight as it can be anyways. Same thing at the corner of the mouth here. You know, we kind of moved things around a little bit when we were messing with that, so it can't hurt. Just use your scale tool to straighten things out. Alright? Beautiful. Okay, so another thing that you definitely want to watch out for is you want your edges to kind of follow the natural curve of the body. Okay? So, you know, you've done a good job of that on the top of Sharky here, where you've got these nice smooth arcing lines going down the length of Sharky's body, alright? But on the bottom here, it's much more blocky. So you can see it kind of turns into a rectangular shape as we come over here towards the tail, and then it's just going straight, and then it kind of bows out a little bit. And then it's quite close to the edge here when it really should be going pretty cleanly down the center between the outer edge here and this middle line. So let's go ahead and fix that. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and just grab a couple of these vertices. Alright. Let's start at the beginning. We'll make sure these look alright. Right on the very edge here. We could, maybe even the spacing out there just a little bit. And again, make sure you're looking at things from multiple angles. Double check it from the side. Does it look good from the side? Does it look good from the front? Does it look good from the top? Kind of one easy way to sort of see what you're doing here in this case is to look at it from the top here. And we can actually change this to X-ray mode so that we can see those vertices that are on the bottom of Sharky. Because right now we're just seeing what's on the top. And what's on the top looks fine. But we can't see those bottom ones that are having problems and issues. So you can actually just come up to shading right here at the top. You can click on X-ray. And what that does is it allows you to see through Sharky. Now you can also see vertices that are on the bottom of Sharky. Alright? And that'll allow you to more easily see these curves that you have going on both the top and the bottom, and to keep them in line with one another. So, for example, right here, we've got one vertex here, which is representing the line you have on the bottom of Sharky, and one that is representative of the one that's on the top. So we can actually just pull those together using our scale tool. Alright? We can just kind of move them as we want to. Because Sharky is fairly symmetrical and has kind of a similar edge flow on both the bottom and top, we can actually get away with, keeping these exactly in line with one another. And it'll be fine. Okay? So we're just going to go through and keep scaling and moving these things. Alright. Going down the length of the body here. And just bringing these things into line with one another. And pulling them into, kind of this middle area in between the outer edge and this center line. Okay, so you just want it to cut right down the middle. Don't forget about this area right here. Okay, this is the bottom jaw. The curves for the bottom jaw should be nice as well, so we should see this nice smooth curve coming down this way. So we don't want this zigzaggy line that we have at the moment. Alright, so make sure you grab those and just pull them in so that, again, they're kind of halfway between the outer edge of the lower jaw, which is here, and this center line. Alright, just following that natural flow of the body. Alright, so we'll keep pulling things in here so we can see a little better what we're doing. Something like that. Pull this in as well. And it's just really a lot of repeating the process, okay? Of just bringing things in. And using your move tool to move them into that kind of center area. And you can see our geometry is smoothing out quite a bit at this point. Alright, it's going to start to look a lot cleaner. It's going to be easier to work with in the future. We go through and do these things. this is kind of the area where it's kind of gone, you know, way sort of off track here. So what should be happening is that this line right here that we've got should actually be coming down this way and following this line rather than coming and jutting out over here. So make sure that you zoom way in, grab the right vertex, okay, and just pull it down this way so it's in line with this edge now. Alright? And again, you know, you can use that scale tool. You may have to zoom in really far to be able to see this. Just pull it in. Alright, and that's all fine. So you can already see where things are looking a lot cleaner now than the way we had them before. Okay, then that kind of takes care of our edge flow issues from the top. We also want to look at it, of course, from the side and make sure that our lines are flowing properly. Alright, now, you know, this one is actually following the natural curvature of the body, which is good. And, you know, this one is not too bad either. But we do have this big giant gap kind of going down the middle where we've got these big, really large faces, okay, next to these really long, skinny ones. And we definitely want to minimize that if we can. So we want to keep our spacing pretty even, you know, whatever we can. It'll really help when we paint our shark later to keep our spacing very consistent throughout the shark, alright? So you might want to pull those up a little bit, and you'll also probably want to pull these down. Just kind of improve on the spacing here so that we don't have big giant polygons next to little tiny ones, if we can help it. Alright, so something like that, we just even it out, make this spacing a little more easy to read there. Last thing that you'll definitely want to take a look at, you actually have a whole lot of extra edge loops right here in these fin areas. You can't see them because they are directly on top of one another. This happens when you do an extrusion and you don't immediately thereafter move, scale, or rotate your new extrusion, right? And sometimes you will have leftover faces on top of faces where that extrusion was that was not moved, okay? It causes all kinds of problems later on when you do have things like that. So if you have to change your model or anything like that, and you've got that going on, it's gonna cause you grief. So, you know, it's really hard to detect. As you can see, the geometry here in this area looks totally fine. One way to kind of double check yourself for this is to hit the 3 key on your keyboard. It'll give you what's called a smooth preview. The smooth preview is going to show you what your shark would look like if you went ahead and smoothed it out, alright? Now, as soon as we hit that smooth preview, we can see that there's, you know, this one edge loop here, and another one, and there's also another, alright? So we've got kind of 3 different edge loops going on there. And just to go back to your regular viewing mode, you can just hit 1 on the keyboard, okay? It goes back to normal. So again, you know, if you just switch between those, you can see these extra edge loops kind of magically appearing, indicating that there's some problem with the geometry there. So, once we know that it's there, we can go ahead and start fixing it. So, you know, I'm just going to grab an individual vertex and pull it out, because I know there's some weird stuff happening here, and I want to kind of get to the bottom of what it is. So I have to pull things apart a little bit and just kind of keep on pulling things until stuff stops appearing out of nowhere, basically. Alright. So as I'm moving these things out, you can see there are several faces here, just kind of coming out of the woodwork. And I'm just grabbing this same vertex over and over again. That's actually a whole bunch of vertices sitting right directly on top of one another. It just looks like one vertex when you first glance at it. Okay, so we're still going. So there's a whole lot going on here. Just in this one tiny area. There are all these things just kind of left over. So this is starting to look a little complicated. After you pulled out a few of these, it's good to just go into face mode, alright? Grab some of these extra faces that are pulling out, and just go ahead and delete them. Start deleting. Alright. There's some more there still too. So just keep pulling them out, keep deleting them until they stop being there. Some of these are just kind of like little floating edges as well, it looks like. So, you know, you can always go to edge mode. Oh, I see. Alright, these are still faces on top of faces, so actually we're going to go back to vertex mode. And just keep pulling these things out until they stop coming out. Alright, so there are quite a lot of these, as you can see. So we could kind of be at this all day. And of course, you know, if it's happening here in this area with this vertex, it's going to be happening with this next vertex over here as well. You're going to get the exact same thing, as well as this one. And the next one, you know, all the way around this edge loop, there's going to be crazy stuff going on. So, you know, it would really take us a long time to really pull out all of these problem areas and fix them, okay? And plus, it'd be really easy for us to make a mistake as well, because there are so many of them. So I think, you know, at this point, what I would suggest is actually just getting rid of this entire area and just remodeling it, okay? So you might also notice when you're in your smooth preview mode here, that while the rest of the shark body is smoothing out, the fin is actually kind of retaining that blocky shape. So, you know, if we switch between just our regular view and hit the 3 key, you can see there's not very much change in the smoothness here. Alright, so that's also kind of an indicator that there are some problems there. So if we actually take a look at some of these vertices, we can see if we start to pull on those, that actually our fin is sort of split apart. Okay, so we can just pull on this. And you can see it's kind of almost like in slices, alright? And you might be wondering how that happened, and usually when you see something like this, it's a product of using that extrude tool without making sure that you have keep faces together checked, alright? So just to give you a quick example of something like that, I'm going to go ahead and delete this fin, alright? Because it would take us a really long time to just go ahead and go through and get all of this re-sewn together, if you will, and there's a good potential for mistakes. But for now, let's just go ahead and get rid of it. We'll just start a fresh one. So I'm going to delete my fin there. I'm also going to delete these guys right here, all the way around, alright, and there are also a whole bunch of hidden faces, as I said, sitting kind of right in this area, right on top of one another. Okay, so I'm going to delete those, and you know, we still see this edge here, all these little edges. That's because these are actually those faces that are just sitting on top of one another, so we can make sure we marquee select those and get rid of those as well. Alright, so we should just have a gap like this. Now, so if we go ahead and go to edge mode, and we grab all of these edges all the way around the gap, I'm going to show you what happens when you use keep faces extruded, or sorry, keep faces together, and when you don't use keep faces together. So just for an example, we'll go ahead and turn keep faces together off, alright? And we'll do an extrusion. Of course, every time we do an extrusion, we should immediately thereafter move, scale, or rotate that extrusion so that we can see it, and it doesn't become more faces on top of faces. Alright, we don't want any more of those. So, you know, I've made this extrusion, looks pretty normal, nothing crazy going on, works just the same as any other one. But because I have keep faces together unchecked, all of these edges that I have extruded are actually not connected to one another. Okay, so if I pull on this, you can see that they're actually split apart. Even though they look like they might be connected, they're actually separate pieces. Okay, and it looks like once I go into vertex mode, I do suggest going into vertex mode after you're done doing all that deleting, because there will be faces that are sitting exactly on one teeny tiny little space. Alright, and you won't be able to see them at first when you're looking at edges, okay? Like this guy right here. He's kind of a leftover from those faces before that were giving us problems. So just be aware that you might find those. Grab them, delete them. I'm also going to delete these faces that I just extruded, since this whole split apart thing is not what I want. Okay, delete all those. And now we're going to do it a different way. We'll grab all of these edges. And this time I'm going to come up to edit mesh and make sure that I have keep faces together checked on. Alright, so we can see that little check mark there. And I'm going to go ahead and hit extrude. Of course, as usual, I'm going to immediately move it, scale it, rotate it, whatever, just so that I can see it and it doesn't become a face on top of a face. Okay, so now this looks exactly the same as the extrusion that I did before, but now if I grab one of the vertices and move it around, you can see that these faces are all attached to one another, okay? So I'm just gonna move that back. What I'm actually gonna do is extrude that and then pull it in, just like this, all right? Now, you'll actually be using your guide for this, okay, for this part. So be sure that you're looking at where your edges should be. I'm just eyeballing things for the sake of time, okay? So, you know, you want to make your fin shape just like that, or something like that at least. And then we'll just grab those edges again, all the way around, okay? And we can just hit Edit Mesh, Extrude. And again, of course, as soon as you do an extrusion, you need to move it, scale it, rotate it, whatever, just get it away from sitting directly on top of where it's at before, okay? So we can just pull that out. We can do a few of these, so we'll extrude and of course move it right away. So you'll be doing this a few times. I believe we have about 5 subdivisions there, but again, as I said, you'll be using your guide for this. Basically, once you've done all your extrusions that you would like to do, you'll then want to go ahead and start scaling these according to your guide, all right? So you'll want to pull things in, pull them back, and you'll just be following along with that outline that you have. And, you know, again, for my example fin here, I only have these 3 subdivisions, but really what you have on the other side here is it's actually more what it should be looking like, all right? And the shape is better over there as well. This is just a rough guesstimate of things. So you'll follow your guide, you'll pull that out, you'll also follow your guide from the front here as well, and you'll be pulling these guys down and scaling them in appropriately. All right. So it will look very similar to what you have on the other side there at the moment. Okay, kind of like that. So once you've done that, we also have to kind of just close this gap that we've created at the end of the fin here. So let's go ahead and do that. What we're going to do is we're actually going to do an extrusion of this little edge right on the end here. Okay, so you're going to come up to Edit Mesh, Extrude. Of course, we're going to immediately move our extrusion. And then we'll also do it one more time. Again, making sure that we immediately move it. I'm going to pull it just right about to there. So now we kind of have everything we need in place to kind of go around and sew up these edges. So let's go to Edit Mesh. We're going to use our Merge Vertex tool. And what we can do is, you know, our mouse turns to this little crosshairs kind of looking thing. We can just click and drag on a vertex, click and drag one to another, and when we let go, it will merge those 2 vertices into just one vertex, all right? So it's kind of like sewing them together in a way. So we can just go around and just click and drag these until we have closed this gap. Make sure that you hit Q for quit when you're done using that tool, so you're not accidentally merging verts that you don't mean to. And it's always a good idea once you've done something like that to just grab a vertex or 2, you know, and try it out. Try moving it. Make sure there's no funny business going on. alright, so that your gap is actually closed. Once we've done that, it's a good thing to just go back into object mode there and hit the 3 key to see the smooth preview. And it should look something like this. There should be like nice smooth curves going on. No blocky areas, no weird pinchy areas. Alright, so here again, for example, on the other side we've got this pinching happening. We've got this blocky area. We've got some strange things happening right here. So you'll just want to pull off the fins, alright? On the other side here as well, you'll want to, grab that, delete that, and just kind of re-extrude those fins to keep everything nice and clean and looking good when it's ready for smoothing out later on. Okay, that's pretty much it for Sharky today. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the things that we went over today, and happy modeling!